Tata Group has recently invested over 4 billions in UK's gigafactory creation and new job opportunities out there. Let's delve a little bit deeper and try to understand what's happening. Tata Group has announced that it will invest over 4 billions in the new UK's gigafactory, which will create thousands of jobs. The Tata Group announced new multibillion-pound electric car battery factory to be built in United Kingdom, one of the largest ever investment in United Kingdom automotive sector. I'm going to be looking at different organizations and some of the moves that other organizations, car manufacturing organizations, do make within the industry. For those who don't know Tata, uh, I would highly recommend to do a little bit more research on this particular organizations and how this organization got started, if anything, and over decades, how much work and what kind of beliefs the person who have started this organization had, and progress of from there, and some of the moves that this organization is making right now, and how it's got started with raw materials, and from those raw materials they are progressing now to some of the high-end projects and overall products that they are delivering and acquiring different companies. So overall, the journey is very interesting, and I'm myself interested, and I'm here to share that story with others. The investment will create up to 4,000 new direct jobs and 1,000 more in the wider supply chain, driving further Prime Minister's priority to grow the economy. New gigafactory is set to provide almost half of the battery production needed by 2030. Turbocharging UK's zero emission vehicles. Interesting. I don't know. So I guess I get it. It's new trends, and everyone had made commitments in going green, which is great. And some of the companies, automotive companies, are looking at that. It just they do have know-how, and they are sourcing, and the company itself is the manufacturer of raw materials and processing those, as well as some of the investments that companies making, which is I guess great beneficial for large groups of people. And let's take a look at some of the companies that they acquire, and some of the supply chain that they do have. The United Kingdom has become chosen as the home of Tata Group's first gigafactory outside India, where Tata Steel had been started, and Tata Group operates in India. Overall, that's true. This is true. In a move set to create thousands of jobs and bring a huge boost of the UK's automotive sector. I believe they are refining metal in Wales for people who are interested. I'm not entirely sure if all metal manufacturing has been done in Wales, but I have seen some of the work that they do there as well. And I have spoke with some people from that group, and very professional people, if anything, very smart people and very professional people that I wish I have to do some business with in the future. But overall, if anything, I'm interested in to understand a little bit more of philosophy and the way how those people think, if anything, as well as vertical integration is something that they're doing. I don't know if I should be saying that, but either way. Tata Group confirmed that UK has secured one of the largest ever investments in United Kingdom auto industry today, 19th of July. The Gigafactory will secure United Kingdom production batteries for another Tata Sons investment, Jaguar Land Rover, as well as other manufacturers in the United Kingdom and Europe. So once they have begin processing steel, metal, or refining metal, from there they start acquiring. So overall vertical integration, they start acquiring those companies who actually do use some of the materials, and they have seen a lot of potential benefits that they could all offer to end consumer. The new gigafactory at 40 gigawatt will be one of the largest not in Europe. I don't know if people don't know that, but in United Kingdom, not in Europe. Chosen by the people of United Kingdom. So it's not in Europe. Yeah, perhaps if you ask someone in India, they might consider it from being from Europe. But according to people in the United Kingdom, it's not Europe. It will create up to not geographically, but economically. It will create up to 4,000 highly skilled jobs, as well as thousands of further jobs in growth our economy and taking forward the United Kingdom economy to net zero, which is great. Myself, I have done so many case studies on different companies within the UK, and I have worked together with different companies. If anything, automotive, and I'm currently in conversations with some of the companies within the US. And for just anything, if you yourself you're interested in automotive and how to manufacture vehicles, right? Perhaps reaching out to those companies and talking with those companies. Some of those companies have entered into agreements that not necessarily they would be able to support you or manufacture any products for you just because of the agreements that they enter in, perhaps worth mentioning, right? So you yourself, you might find more or better approach in perhaps progressing something I have shared with a couple of people already, progressing and or would be better course of action, progress from smaller units, whatever that might be, into larger units. Time frame can be about 8 years, perhaps more than 8 years, and from there potentially begin starting and manufacturing cars. Whether we're looking at a time frame of 8 years, progressing from smaller units into larger ones. There are a lot of announcements made. Would highly recommend for everyone who interested. I'll share a link into an article for those of you who are interested in some of the announcements made and some of the projection for the future and some of the potential opportunities there within different markets. I have delved into those markets myself, and usually, if you're looking for any business to have support in existing projects, they have very narrow and niche at least as a business need to have very narrow and niche expertise to support your existing projects, not necessarily to build those projects from the ground up. There's the funding there, and from my personal understanding, if they looking to offer funding, they normally looking to offer funding for very narrow niche expertise within industry. So it almost feels like not necessarily opens door to those projects, not necessarily that offer grants, government grants, offer doors to entry level companies, but perhaps existing companies supported by the government to very particularly uh, almost like those projects being designed to very particular companies that are maybe 5 companies up there, so which are great. So I'm spending my time reading some of those projects up there. Just write down that this project is for that company, and I would need to read it. So I don't know why I need to read those documents. So I'm reading those documents, spending my time. Perhaps another business leaders up there, about 200 of those, perhaps 400 within the UK, roughly speaking, about another 2,000 people out there reading the same documents that was designed for 5 people. So just waste of time. Come on, let's stop wasting. We're busy people out there. We're trying to make a living. For people out there who are interested in learning more, I have published this tool. It's for you to develop good habits that would last. Potentially, that's why it's so structured in this particular way for a quarter. So it would bring your attention how to run your personal budget as well as how potentially run your company's budget later. Not right now. If right now, even better, but most likely if you were to begin with your personal budget and from there progress into managing different budgets, if anything, focusing on finance, focusing on your time and management on 24 hours. So that would be some of the habits that I have developed this tool for you to work on 24 hours, so making most of 24 hours, making most of every single day, and within every day I have identified particular areas that or which I personally believe one should focus on. And you can find it in the description below as well as Top Retailers has it. Then it comes to electric vehicles. If anything, myself, I'm gonna be doing a lot of. I have done a lot of research, but there's definitely not enough to understand all subject of batteries. If anything, when it comes to hardware, if and sourcing of materials that will be required to build the batteries, which is great since I personally believe India has recently discovered more resources when it comes to actually building batteries and sourcing the raw materials, if anything. So that would definitely benefit UK's economy. Where not necessarily UK, as far as I know, not necessarily has access to all raw materials that will be required otherwise to build batteries. Recently, a new discovery was done not far from Pakistan, but I think it's India's territory, where they have a lot of resources to actually source for battery technology. But either way, I need to understand this subject a little bit better. Otherwise, comparing two countries, right? So when it comes to solar panels, Germany were building a lot of solar panels as well as China did. Only difference between Germany and China, China has policy that they would not necessarily start a project unless China has all the all the resources required to build those projects. So if they have access to all the raw materials, then China would take on the project. Germany has the different philosophy. When it comes to UK's economy, I'm not entirely sure what's happening with access to some of the raw materials. If any takeaways, that would be it. It's something that I need to understand a little bit better. And some of the resources, perhaps all the raw materials to build the cars themselves, UK might have access to, but not necessarily to all the battery technology. But I'm not sure about this. I need to double check that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.